The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 291. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is an actress, an author, and also an international speaker, and I'm just really excited to have her on and share her story with us. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Zai Miztiq. Zai, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Hey, hi Sheena. Thank you for having me on this interview with your guest. Okay, what do you want to know? Introduction, is it? Okay, I am from Singapore. I am currently an author, speaker, coach. I help women mostly and youth to help rediscover their identity, to gain confidence and clarity, and be happy. Because I've of course with years of experience, 15 years of travel and entrepreneurial journey, and having had broken my spine 11 years ago, I was in an accident, and doctors said I couldn't walk anymore. And how I moved from a victim mindset to victorious mindset, and lots of experiences, and of course knowledge I learned from my mentors. I thought, hey, I'm going to put together a program called a sisterhood mentorship program to help people. So that's what I do today.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what's your cultural background?
Well, I always say I'm Indian, but then, oh God, that's going to take us 20 minutes to explain. Okay, so basically, let me begin with my mom. That's slightly simpler. My mom has some Malaysian roots from her mom, and her dad, a bit of a Pakistani. But then my dad, he's from India, but we suspect we have like an East African, Yemeni lineage. So I'm Indian. My dad was born in India, so yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Zai, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
To me is, there's so many, but like I always, like I wrote in my second book, 5 Things I Love About Being a Woman. It says, intelligence is sexy, confidence is sexier.
I love that. Because a lot of us, we feel like we're not confident enough if we're not intelligent on a subject. But if we just portray the confidence, kind of like a fake it till you make it, in a good way, of course, then, we attract what we want to know, and we go out there and realize that we are able enough to go out there and know the things that we want to know, or find out those things, be curious. So I really like that.
I've always heard this fake it till you make it, but personally, I think we don't even have to fake it. We just got to be authentic, be our true self, and we have the answers. We don't have to have all the right answers all the time, I think.
I agree. Sometimes the wrong answers will lead us to the right path.
So just be yourself.
Yeah, so thanks for sharing that quote. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
How do I define self-confidence? I think personally over the years, there are many things that has happened, but self-confidence is something that it happens when you are being true to yourself, like you know your values, you know what you stand for.
Thanks for sharing that. And Zai, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
What was my life like? Oh, I love to share this story. Okay, I actually recently just unpacked more of it. I think as a kid, you always hear, why do you ask so many questions? Or why do you this? Why do you that? And it makes you stop. I think there's a lot of time you just lose self-belief, and that anyway, nobody's going to listen to me anyway, So that makes us have a lot of fear. We fear what will people say, what people will this, what people will think about us. And I think that was one of the things that happened to me. And as a kid, like I said, I have such a mixed culture. And in Singapore, we've got Malays, Indians, Chinese, and the Indian kids will go, oh, you Malay girl. And then the Malays will go, oh, you Indian girl. And I'm like, always lost. I don't even know who I am, what I stand for. Yeah, it was difficult. I mean, we always say about racial harmony in Singapore, but of course there's racism everywhere, right? It happens. And even kids there, they go through that a lot. And yeah, there is of course all these stuffs, and hearing what your family say about you, like why do you ask them? It makes you feel so little and small, like you're not even good enough, not worthy of anything. But thankfully I was always interested in art. I loved art. I always expressed myself through art. and I speak to people who listen to me, and most of the time I'm quite a loner. I used to be quite a loner. So right now having to have this social life, it's a bit crazy but fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something a lot of Asian women go through, feeling a little because of our upbringing. It's something that we all go through. And then,
Yeah, and then we act like we are something that we are not, and then we try to, it's
Yeah.
just so difficult, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's a vicious cycle, of generational curse. That's what I do. I want to break the cycle. We have to put an end to this.
Totally. I mean, this is the reason why I had the show. What was that point in your life when you realized you were more than enough? What was that aha moment?
Oh, when I felt that I was more than enough. That was a breakthrough. I think that was like almost 2 years ago only. Well, I always knew, like I used to join beauty pageants and all that stuff, like, to gain confidence and all that stuff. But I think when I knew enough was enough, when I was tired of people dictating my life, like I had to do things to make sure my mom was taken care of. We have 6 siblings. I'm the last one, and I was her sole caretaker then. And I always had to work my life around how do I make sure my mom is okay, and how do I please people? How do I make sure my friends will feel okay? I tried to adapt to every single person and environment. Then one day I put my foot down. I said, dude, I broke my spine. I lived my life. I've traveled the world. What now? What do I do next? What do I want to do for me? That's when my aha moment came for myself, and I said, enough is enough. I'm going to hold my own pen, write my own life script, be my own director, actress, producer of my own life.
I love that, hold your own pen, be the one to write your own story.
Right. That was one of the best things that I did for my life.
Awesome. Well, that's great that you were able to, decide that, because a lot of people are too afraid to make that decision and take action. And
yes,
because of that, what's your life been like now?
Oh, it's been amazing. Since that journey, that was when a lot of people started asking me, hey Zai, how do you travel? How do you do your business? How you do this and that? So I wrote my first book, Turn Your Passion into Profits. And then I realized money was not the problem that people had. People had issues with self-confidence and low self-esteem. So I wrote a second book called 5 Things I Love About Being a Woman. And in between, that became an Amazon bestseller last March 2016. And the best thing that happened was being able to speak on stages in schools, in a corporate world here in Singapore. And then I was invited last March to Morocco, a Rise and Thrive conference to address like 300 youth. And then I was in London. There was a British Muslim TV production that interviewed me for Sisters Hours. So there was speaking, TV interviews, lots of media exposure, and just sending out that message of you can be whatever you want to do or be with faith and love. I think that's the best gift ever.
Thanks for sharing that. It's great that you're out there, taking action in your own life and inspiring others to do the same. And to the woman who is listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
You see, as long as you are on this journey, life is a journey, and every step you are evolving. Even me, like every day I wake up to ask myself, what's the next right move to make? So there's never like, okay, I'm done, I'm settled. Don't stay in that comfort zone for too long, but celebrate that joy. You can celebrate that joy and that moment. Don't stay in that comfort zone too long. And another thing for women, especially if you are single, people will say, oh, you're not married. And if you're married, they're like, hey, you have no kids. And if you have one, it's like, when's the next one? And then when you have 5, they're like, oh, you have too many. People will keep talking. Let them talk. Live your dreams, live your legacy, be the strong soulful success you are destined to be, and be happy. I think that is very important, because even now people talk to me about such stuff like, oh, why don't you have this? I'm like, dude, I'm enough. I'm happy. Leave me alone.
Awesome. Those are some great tips, and it's so true. I mean, especially living in an Asian culture, it's the same thing. When you're going to get married, they're always asking when the next step is, and it's the upbringing, right? But we can always be aware of that and stop and create our own legacy, like you mentioned. So great tips that you mentioned. And Zai, if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Oh, for sure. I'm on Zai Miztiq. Zai Miztiq is the name. It's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, what have you not, LinkedIn. And also my website is zaimiztiq.com. Miztiq with a Z, not S.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And then to our listeners, if you want to connect with Zai, you can also head on over to the SelfConfidence.com and search for Zai's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Zai for taking the time to share her story with us. Thank you so much.
Sheena. Yes.
It was an honor having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free self-talk tape for building self-confidence by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.